New York Jets, they have one of the lowest here in the AFC. Are they the lowest? Third lowest in the AFC, 5.5 for them. Third lowest projection from Cynthia here, 5.5 for the Jets. My offseason take that I don't know if I'm gonna move off here is that Justin Fields sneaks in some. He's won games with a lesser Bears team, a not so good Bears team. I think that rushing ability raises the floor, and this is like a sneaky over for me at 5.5.
Yeah, I mean, Fields is an interesting quarterback now because he's the classic example of a guy you can win with, but you don't feel good about it. And we kind of saw that with the Steelers last year. He won games when he was the starter at the start of the year, and yet as soon as Russell Wilson was back healthy, Mike Tomlin was like, "It's Russell's team." And we pitched the keys immediately back to him. The rest of the league seemed pretty, or not the rest of the league. The kind of commentary was all, well, you can't take it away from Fields. Look at his record. He's winning the games. And yet the coach, the guy that's sort of looking at how it's happening, is like, yeah, but, how is he winning the games, right? I think that's Fields right now. He's a phenomenal athlete. He brings this incredibly high floor. He brings this capacity to turn any bad play into a good one because you can't get him on the ground, and he can, get out of trouble and run for 20 yards, right? And any given play. Like, there's a highlight reel out there of him making Myles Garrett look ridiculous. Myles Garrett whoops the left tackle and Fields just skips by him and turns it into a positive play. There's not many quarterbacks that can do that, and he can do it consistently. But he's also a below average passing quarterback at this point who has admittedly, like, he's gotten better every year of his career, but he started at such a low ebb that he still isn't at a level where you would say, okay, he's definitely good enough to be the starter for this team over the next 5 years. Like, that's still an unknown, even with that incredibly high floor and the fact that he can make big plays, et cetera. So I think you're right. Like, he'll win a bunch of games that he shouldn't win, but he might also lose games that were there to be won as well.
What if I told you Justin Fields' last 12 starts, his teams are 8-4. 8-4 over his last 12 starts. Now, am I cherry picking some stats? Absolutely. But it's the most recent 12 games. And you had 6 with the Bears and 6 with the Steelers. And we're talking about a Bears team that I think only won 7 games that year anyway. And so they went on a bit of a run. And a Bears team that didn't get better the next year. You're talking about a Steelers team that, they snuck into the playoffs, but a big reason they snuck into the playoffs is because Fields started 4-2 as the starter, and then they tapered off as well. So that's where I think I'm getting this feeling of the high floor that he's going to, and it coincides with my, hey, running quarterbacks raise the floor, and you might outperform your expectations just because you have that 100-yard rushing game when everything else fails. Speed and athleticism at the quarterback position doesn't fail. So that's why the 5.5, I'm not even saying it feels low for me. I get it. I mean, the Jets they're rebuilding, right? But offensive line looks in the right direction. It had some youth the last couple of years, a tackle, still have a Garrett Wilson at playmaker. Defensive line, I think, is taking a hit, but they still have some players there, especially Jermaine Johnson coming back off of injury. Still have Sauce Gardner at corner. And the big unknown for us, too, I think, is Aaron Glenn. We don't really know exactly, like any first-year head coach. I mean, we've seen Nathaniel Hackett be completely overwhelmed. We've seen Dan Campbell get the Lions not even winning games right away, but at least on the right track almost immediately just from a mentality and system standpoint. So a lot of unknowns here for the Jets. I just think 5.5 feels low, and they might sneak up on some teams and maybe win 6. So, all
right, that's enough of that, Steve. Over 50% of the people listening to this are not subscribed right now. So click that button, and then we can get back to whatever it is Steve's telling you about. Yeah, I could see that. I think there's a broad range of outcomes for this team. I think there's also I think they can have a similar improvement from just changing the coaching voice, right? Like it's been a mess since they decided that Robert Saleh was to blame for all their problems. But I think that offensive line could be pretty good. Fields is athletically talented and can make noise. Garrett Wilson is a really good player still. The talent in the backfield, I think, is really good. Breece Hall didn't have a particularly good year, but you're going to hear all sorts of Breece Hall's back better than ever, like bulked up. He's ready to go, career year. And you've got Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis behind him. Like, that's a good group. And then the defense, I think, could be dangerous as well in a different scheme, like in a different system being brought to the table. So I agree with you. I think the Jets could be sneaky good this year. If not, I don't think they're good enough to be like a contender or anything. But I think, like, the reason the Rodgers thing was so disappointing is because this is a team that should have been a contender with him on the team. Now, there's been some turnover, and it's not exactly the same group, but I think enough of those pieces are still there that you would look at it and say they shouldn't stink. Like, they shouldn't be a bad team.
Steve D from Italy, great interaction as always. He's asking me if I think Justin Fields. I think he's asking me. Yeah, he tagged me. Will Justin Fields ever be a top 15 quarterback? I mean, like, right now, I would lean no. But as we've talked about, given all the other options for the Jets, there's still a chance that Fields could do that. There is the rushing ability. There is the fact that in college, when he had his feet set and he threw the ball accurately with a good arm and everything. Like, there are tools there for Fields. And we are in this world where Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, it took a bunch of guys recently, a few years before they played their best football. And so for a Jets team that has zero answers at quarterback, he's a nice hybrid option. And so we've absolutely said process-wise, this has been a good one, I think, for the Jets. Even if it doesn't show up even if it doesn't work, it's a good process move, I would say, for the Jets to bring in Fields. I'll take the over on the 5.5 here.
Yeah, he's a good bridge quarterback right now, but I do think that there is more there. Like, his flaw, I mean, I think he can be an accurate passer. We saw that in college. I think there is a leap to be taken. He's gotten incrementally better as a passer, but his biggest thing is not like a failure to read defenses. It's a failure to, like, trust himself. Like, it's not, I don't understand what I'm looking at. It's, I think I've seen this, but I don't, and then by the time he's decided it's gone, he's gone somewhere else with the ball. Like, I don't know if, obviously Kevin O'Connell is now like the default. Hey, if you could just pair him with Kevin O'Connell, he knows how to rewire. But, like, if you can just get him with a coach that can get through to him to say, look, just trust your eyes. First read, first instinct, see it, throw it. Don't overthink this. Don't make it too complicated. I think that part is, if he's able to do that more consistently, I think you could see a huge jump forward in his play.
I had to chuckle at Brock in the chat saying Fields processes like a 1998 Dell. Pretty good. If you read OTA, mini camp reports and everything, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, he's a little late to see these things, but there's also these beautiful throws down the field. I mean, that's pretty much been his game since entering the NFL.
But I think critically, like, I don't think it's an inability to read the concepts that he's looking at. Like, I don't think that's what
it doesn't matter why he plays.
No, it does matter why, because I don't think you're fixing the first. I don't think you can fix a guy who just doesn't know what he's reading, right? I don't think that's salvageable. I don't think if a guy just looks at it, can't read a defense, you can teach a guy concepts, you can teach a guy chalkboard, but you're basically never going to rescue that. It's terminal. I do think that it's potentially fixable for a guy who knows how to read it and is just not trusting his eyes to begin with. I think theoretically you can get that guy to just cut loose, embrace your inner fits, right? Embrace the YOLO and just put the ball in the air. You read it, trust it, go. I think theoretically that is not a terminal flaw. So I do think it matters what the distinction is there. But this is why way back when he was a prospect, we had concerns about that Ohio State offense, because all he did there was drop back, stare down a target, wait for him to be open, and then fire the ball in. And you're like, is that the offense or is that him? Like, which is that? At the moment, you would say now it's looking more like it was him than it was the offense.
Did you go over or under for the Jets here? I'll take the over.
Over. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.